Hey, this is Wyatt, and in starting my 100-day video challenge, I ran into one thing. I wanted to do 100 videos, but I realized doing a video a day wasn't going to cut it. I needed to batch my process. Batching makes a lot of sense, but how do you do it? In this video, I'm looking at 3 different experts and how they look at some aspects of batching. Okay, so batching content. First of all, what is it? Batching content is the whole idea is keeping your brain focused on a particular task over an extended period of time is much easier than going from one task to another. So if you're writing, you get into that writing flow, then you do a bunch of writing all at once. Same with video. You get into video, you've set up your lighting, you've set up your camera, your audio, everything else. Then it's more efficient to do a bunch of videos in a row. And the whole idea of batching isn't new necessarily, but a lot of people have looked at different technology and made it fresh again and brought it out as the technique of 2019. You know, they've marketed it basically. But the batching process is something that people have been doing for a long time. So here's how it would work with video. You're going to be creating your videos, and I'm going to show you 3 different experts that are really cool. And each of them is highlights a different aspect, but also going and watching each of the videos, you'll get a lot from that. The idea then is to just go ahead and batch, figure out how many videos you want to create for a given month, let's say. Let's say you make 3 videos a week, 12 videos a month. You can make those 12 videos all at once. That'd be kind of hard. So the better thing to do is say, okay, maybe I can do 2 videos at a time. Batch 2 videos. Maybe 3 if I'm really stretching it. But if you do 2, just do 2 at first and then build up the habit. And then you get into a groove and you're able to increase your batching process. But either way, you know, do your editing all at once, do your video shooting all at once. And then do your research, do all those different batching processes. If you batch them out, you're going to do a lot better. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different experts and some highlights I've got from each one of them. They each have their own strengths, but together I think they provide a solid process for looking at videos from start to finish. Okay, so one of the cool videos I found was something that was just put out by Vanessa, and it's really good. Definitely, there'll be a link. You can go check it out. One of the takeaways I've found is factoring the time. It's not the first time I've looked at batching, and a lot of times you'll have someone like Pat Flynn or other people, maybe even Gary Vee, where they do just this tremendous amount of content in one go. And the thing with batching that I'm looking at doing is creating a system that I can realistically achieve and then increasing over time. So let's take a look at what Vanessa says. This is the biggest takeaway I got from Vanessa, besides the fact of using Asana and really being uber organized about how everything is set up.
Not the days, but the actual time, so it's truly scheduled within your calendar. That's why the next step that you want to factor in is understanding how long it takes you realistically to film one video. In my case, filming a video alone takes me max 3 hours. And if I'm going to film 2 videos a day, it's going to take me 6 hours of filming.
So there it is, 6 hours of filming. Knowing that it's going to take you that long, then she goes ahead and schedules that time in, blocks it out. Now, granted, that's a lot of time. And if you're first starting out, you might even take longer or you might take less time. It really depends on the length of video you're doing. But knowing that it's going to take you on average a certain amount of time, accounting for that and a bit of buffer for technology snafus, that's what you would realistically look at for creating your videos. Okay, so let's hear from Steve from Think Media.
Camera mode, it's a Canon 70D, and I'm on video mode when I'm shooting videos, but I flip it over to camera mode and put a 2-second timer on, and then I start shooting a couple thumbnails. This is actually a huge tip. Thumbnails are so powerful, right, on YouTube, and if you're...
Okay, so there's Sean. And he also talks about B-roll. He talks about a great list of items to remember when you're doing your YouTube videos. But it's not just being organized, of course, to creating all that content in Trello or Asana, making sure that you have your content ideas in the flow of creating them and then editing, and then doing the SEO and all that. But it's also remembering that when you're doing your shooting, you can be shooting B-roll, you can be shooting, as he suggests, images that you can then use as a thumbnail. And those thumbnails are really what grab attention. So you really want to spend some time with that, have some options when you go to do that. That's a great tip I haven't tried yet. So that's one tip I'm going to try next. Okay, so here's what Gary Vee has to say, and we'll break down why this is important. Check it out.
You're producing a, I don't know, are you producing a vlog? Right. Don't put the vlog on the pedestal. Put the pieces of content from the daily vlog on the pedestal. It's a reverse, right? 100%.
So what he's talking about there is that when you're doing, you have your pillar content, you might be concentrating on blog posts. In this case, the guy is concentrating on video, which of course, if you're doing a 100-day video challenge, you're going to concentrate on video, right? But when you're spreading it out there, what he's saying is don't focus upon the main content. Focus on the highlights. Make these micro clips, the kind of teaser clips that some other YouTubers talk about. And in that sense, you're basically teasing and getting people back to the main pillar content. It's not thinking, oh, I have to produce so much of this content. It's I've taken that pillar content and then I've produced the micro content, and that becomes what I spread around. Key takeaways that I'm going to be using the 100-day video challenge is basically to use Trello. Now, I know with Vanessa in the first video we saw, she actually uses Asana. If you like Asana, do check out her video. She goes in depth. But regardless on if you use Asana or Trello, you're able to basically keep track of your ideas and move them systematically, drag and drop. All your notes you can attach, videos, images, links, and so on. All those notes go from one setup to the next. So researching, and then you can move that over to shooting, then you move that over to description and SEO, then you move that over to publishing. And each of those things, if you look at Think Media, have a checklist attributed to them because you're not going to remember everything. You need to rely on those checklists. So going through and having a checklist that you use each and every time is very important. So when you're batching, you want to have that checklist down. So like when you prepare your camera the day before or the day of, you have it down so you know the exact lighting and everything's all set up for you. And then you, the same is true for editing, having all your assets in one place, one folder, being able to get them and just edit through. So those checklists are vitally important. But then I love what Gary Vee has, which is basically don't forget your micro content. Have that core content, that core piece that you produced, but then allow for micro content to be put out into the world on a regular basis. And not just one piece, but several different pieces so that they can basically pull people into that core piece that you've created. So with those ideas in mind in batch creation, I'm going to start the 100-day process and creating videos on a regular basis. Batching can also be used for individual videos. And what I mean is, instead of thinking you have to shoot the video all at once, you can do the video in micro segments and therefore get one segment done, then do another segment, then do another segment. And although some will say that it interrupts the flow, a lot of times it's easier to get a chunk down than to try to do the whole thing at once. It also can allow you to take a break, gather your thoughts again, and then keep going. So the batching works in both directions, batching for multiple videos, but also breaking up a longer video into smaller chunks. One critical piece that I'm going to add are templates. It's important to have a template down so you have a consistent intro, outro, different segments within your videos, video cards, and so on. Those templates are key. I have a ScreenFlow template that I can share with you in the description below. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode where I'll go in depth into several different experts and their view on finding content ideas for your videos. See you next time. Thanks a lot for watching.